In Singapore, we have the Singapore BIM Guide. This guide is a reference that outlines the roles and the responsibilities of the project members when using building information modeling at different stages of the project. It is used as a reference guide for the development of a BIM execution plan, which will be agreed between the employer and the project members in order to have a successful implementation of the BIM project. So let's take a look at the requirements of these Singapore BIM guides. Right, so the BIM guide aims to outline the various possible deliverables, the processes, the personnel and the professionals involved when you have building information modeling, okay, that is used, right, in a construction project, or when you have VDC that is going to be used in a construction project, simply because VDC also incorporate the BIM as a backbone. So the users can use the Singapore BIM guide to clarify the roles and responsibilities of the project members when using BIM in the construction project. The roles and responsibilities are captured in the BIM execution plan, and it has to be agreed between the employers and the project members. Right, to effectively introduce BIM into the project delivery process, important for the project team to develop a BIM execution plan at the early stages of the project. And the plan outlines the overall vision and along with the implementation details for the project team to follow throughout the project, usually defined at the start of the project and when new project members have been appointed to accommodate their participation. So the BIM project execution plan helps the employer and project members to document the agreed BIM deliverables and the processes for the project. So the principal agreement can make reference to a BIM execution plan to define the roles and responsibilities of the project members for their BIM deliverables. When the plan is developed, the employer and the project members can then clearly understand the strategic goals for implementing BIM on the project, understand their roles and responsibilities for model creation, maintenance, collaborations at different stages of the project. Design a suitable process for them to participate in the implementation, outline any additional resources and services that may be required, and also provide a baseline to measure the progress throughout the project. The content of a BIM project execution plan typically will include all this: project information, the BIM goals and its users, each project member's roles, staffing and competency, BIM processes and the strategy, the BIM exchange protocol and submittal format, BIM data requirement, collaboration procedures and methods to handle shared models, quality control, as well as the technical or technology infrastructure and the software. BIM project deliverables should be agreed upon together with deliverable dates at the start of the project and after the main project members have been appointed, so as to accommodate their participation. Some of the typical deliverables are shown here. You deliver, for example, the site model or the massing model, architectural, structural MEP models, the schedule and the phasing program, construction and fabrication model, shop drawings, as-built models, data for facility management, any other additional value-added BIM services. The typical BIM process will involve model creations by the different trades or the different disciplines, and the different models that is created will need to be coordinated among themselves. So there will be a model coordination and a data exchange. So involving the team of the model authors and the users. So upon resolution of the identified issues, for example, if there's any clashes, or during each project milestone, a version of the model can then be frozen and released to downstream model users. So you need to have a procedure, for the modeling, okay, and collaboration among the different disciplines lah. Individual discipline, when they are handling their own part of the model, okay, they have certain guidelines to follow. So, for example, okay, each element will be modeled according to its size, shape, location, orientation, and quantity. At the early stage of the project, the element properties will be more general and approximate, but like LOD, okay, it's going to become more specific and increase in accuracy as the project progresses from initial phase to the design phase to the construction phase, so on and so forth. Right? So the architectural, structural, MEP modeling guidelines and templates for the Singapore BIM e-submissions and regulatory purpose have been prepared by BCA. So the industry will need to follow all these guidelines. Okay. In terms of the model orientation, okay, the origin point of the project should be clearly defined and drawn, and we are using the SURF21 coordinate system. Okay. And we're also using the LTA's vertical control point. Okay, we call it the VCP plus 100 meters. Okay. In terms of the model division and structure, depending on the size of the project, okay, or the phase of the project, it may sometimes be necessary to divide the model into separate parts or zones or levels. When that is being done, okay, it should be agreed and documented by the modeling team as early as possible so that there's no confusion. And we always need to manage the revisions because there are many versions and there is always constant updating. So the model will evolve rapidly during the various construction stages. Changes should be tracked and documented, especially when the model creation task is divided into a few smaller packages and handled by different people separately. The project members should share their models with other project members at regular intervals for reference. At certain milestones, the models from different disciplines should be coordinated, allowing the different parties to resolve any potential conflicts upfront and avoid costly abortive work in the later stage and delays at this construction stage. So prior to model coordination, the respective models should be checked, approved, and validated as fit for coordination. So over here, it shows you the different phases of the project and the different stakeholders that is involved, yeah, and what are the things that they need to do, okay, at the different phases of the project. Okay, quite self-explanatory. You can take some time to go and go through the table. In early coordination processes, the entire model can be run against other models to determine the scope of interference. For example, the objects, the element, the selection criteria for future testing and future coordination. So proper search set the crash rules, okay, to be set up, okay, before running the respective coordination process so that we can reduce time and resources spent on detecting false positives. Okay, hide elements that are unnecessary in the coordination process. For example, known issues that are resolved in later project stages, yeah, or elements that do not impact cost when changed on site. Right. Group particular elements for specific type of coordination process, such as forming groups between the ceiling search set and MEP model only during the crash analysis. Quality control and quality assurance is important. So in the Singapore BIM guide, they also set aside the guidance, okay, on what to do in terms of the modeling guidelines, the data set validation, yeah, interference check, or validation of the BIM data to be used for cross-disciplinary model coordination. Okay. Yeah. In Singapore, our contract procurement types, that means how we go about, the owner go about the building his building or facility, typically falls under two categories. The more traditional category is design, bid, and build, meaning that the owner engage a group of consultants to design the whole facility, send it for approval with the authorities, and once it's approved, then use the information done in the design for the different contractors to tender. Whereas design and build is different. The owners engage the contractor directly to carry out the whole design and construction of his project. Other than these two types of procurement system, there is also other types. For example, BOT. BOT means build, this operate, and then after that it transfer. Okay, or this private public partnership. Okay, but all these are not very common compared to the design, bid and build, or design and build this system. So the BIM guide actually provides a workflow for using BIM for either design and build or design, bid and build. So let's take a look at that. So in the more traditional design, bid and build the procurement system, it divides the BIM model into two models, or the BIM process into two models: the design model and the construction model. The consultants will generate the design model and the tender documents, whereas once the main contractor comes on board at the later stage, the main contractor will generate the construction model for construction purposes. Okay, so in the pre-tender stage, we will need to establish the BIM, this execution plan prior to modeling, create the architectural system model by design team, integrate the design models for coordination and crash detection. Interference will be resolved interactively during the coordination meeting. And once all conflict has been resolved, design and tender documents can be prepared, then it goes on to the construction stage, where the models and these drawings generated from models will be released to the main contractor, only for reference, and the main contractor will have to develop the model further, with construction and fabrication detail, right, or with fully annotated drawings for the subcontractors or by the subcontractors. Whereas the design and build project delivery system allows for a single model to be developed, to produce the construction documents and fabrication of the building system. So right from the start, you can establish the BIM execution plan before the modeling. Then you come up with your schematic design, designers in collaboration with the subcontractors to create the BIM models to meet the predefined project requirements. Integrate these BIM models into a composite model for coordination and crash detection. Interference will be resolved interactively during coordination meeting. Once all the conflicts have been resolved, the construction documents can be produced. So the design and build team will then hold installation planning meetings where the coordinated model will be used for review and field installation. Right? So that allows for the accurate digital fabrication of key components off-site, for example, your structural steel, precast component, fabricated units, so on and so forth. To facilitate the BIM processes, two new professionals known as the BIM manager for project and the BIM coordinator for consultants or contractors have been identified and created. These new roles can be undertaken by assisting members in the project team, such as the CAD manager, project managers, consultants, or contractors. So besides ensuring that the BIM objectives are achieved, the BIM manager should also ensure that all parties work collaboratively to resolve the conflicts in the most efficient way. So the role of the BIM manager does not include making decisions about design, engineering, or construction solution for the project, nor organizational process for each discipline. So here is shows you the role of this BIM manager, the responsibilities in the management of the model, or the role of the BIM coordinator for the consultant at the design and construction stage, or the role of the BIM coordinator for the contractor at the construction stage. There are different things for them to